Good morning, guys. I want to record this quick video to share an experience I had with Holly yesterday. Holly's my horse, if you don't know, and she did a healing on me yesterday, and it was the most beautiful thing and the most beautiful experience that she and I have had together in almost 10 years. I think I've had her almost 10 years. Yesterday, I was very stressed out and I scheduled way too much stuff for myself. I had just gotten back from a training and a trip to Arkansas, opening a center there in Cabot, and I wanted to get a lot done this week. So I scheduled way too much yesterday. I had a buyer from Washington, and then I was interviewed, and that'll come out on the 1st of February on the Drop of Om podcast. Her name is Damla, and she's beautiful, beautiful soul. And then I had a buyer meeting with Oregon, Thailand. I just had way too much going on yesterday that I should not have done so much in a day. But I'm an overachiever. So when I went out to the barn to see Holly, and I thought I'll just make it a quick trip, and I know she has her pasture time today, so she goes into pasture with 3 horses, her and 2 others. And the pastures are separated, so they put the horses together that get along, and it's just a beautiful thing that this barn does. So I go out there, and I had a little bit of a bellyache just from stress, but I wanted to make sure I had my daily time with Holly. And I thought, well, I'm not going to get her out of the pasture. I'm just going to go into the pasture and I'll sit with her. I sit on the edge of like a water trough that they have. And I just kind of sit on the edge of it sometimes and just hang out and watch her and watch how she interacts with the other horses and I watch how she walks. Like, does she put her left foot first, her right foot first? Is she left or right handed or hoofed? So I go out there. As soon as she sees me, she comes walking. She probably walked 60 yards. I'm thinking of a football field, so probably 60 yards. And she came over to me, and she's just smelling me. And I think she knows when I'm out of balance, and she knows when I'm off. And I was off definitely yesterday. And that's why I went to the barn to go ground and then to go have my loving horsey time. So I'm out there, and she's just smelling me, and I had a sweet potato for her. She loves yams, so I just hand them to her and she bites them off, and she's so cute. So I gave her yam, and Apollo is another horse that's out there, and he came up to me and he was just smelling me. And normally what they do is they'll beg you for treats. They know us two-leggeds always have some snacks or some cookies for them, and he didn't. He just smelled me, and he was very not concerned. I would say he was very observant. And so he smelled me, stuck around for a little while. I patted him a little bit. And it's not an activity that he usually does. He'll do his own thing when I go get Holly. But they're buddies. They're pasture buddies. They're friends. And so Holly's, finishes her potato, and she's smelling me, and definitely a different energy from her. And so Apollo, I think he decided, you know what? I think you need some time with this two-legged. And I can tell, he smelled Holly, my horse, and he could tell this is somebody that's really important to her. This is my friend, so I'm going to go off. Well, the other horse wanted to come over and observe, and I've never seen this activity before from horses. Apollo was circling this horse and keeping it at a distance that Holly and I could have our space. And it was like so crazy. And I can feel Apollo like, no, you can't go over there. And he's circling around this horse and not letting this horse come by me. Now, this horse is an old show horse, so sometimes they have different manners than the old ranch horses. Like Holly's an old ranch horse, and she was raised on a ranch with manners and around probably horses that had manners. And I watch some of the horses, sometimes they'll try to teach each other manners, and they'll bite at each other or kick at each other. And it's like, no, you don't get to behave that way. And Holly does it a lot. She has zero tolerance for horses that don't have horse manners. So Paulo's keeping this horse away from us, giving us our space. And Holly starts just getting in my face, which she doesn't usually do. And I love her little nose. Her little nose is so soft, the fur on her nose. And she was taking her nose and she was just putting it on my face, almost like she was like, oh, my mom's face is so soft. And I'm like, oh, her face is so soft. And she has her nostrils, this big nostrils like right in my face, and she's just smelling and she's licking and chewing. And it was so amazing, this interaction we were having. And the whole time, Apollo's in a chaos with this other horse, keeping this horse out of our space. So I'm, kind of looking at them, and Holly's just working on me. I could tell energetically she's just working on me, and she's clearing stuff from me. The stomach ache went away. It was crazy. And it was this beautiful expression of love between us. I just wish it could have been captured on film. But sometimes those moments, if I was focusing on the filming or trying to capture it, it wouldn't have been the same. And so she worked on me for a while, stayed right by me, very soft eyed, very amazing. And then she went down to my feet and started smelling, 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 all the way up to where my stomach hurt. And this was probably about, I'd say 15 or 20 minutes, which is long for her to keep the attention like that. And then she decided that I was healed. She snorted out like a big breath where she was just releasing it herself to the Gaia, to the earth energy, where she's grounded with her hoofs into the ground. And then she walked away maybe 10 feet from me. And I thought, okay, she's done. And I felt bad for Apollo having to keep, wrangling up this other horse. So I thanked Holly. I thanked Apollo. And as soon as I walked out of the pasture, which is like a string, they have it's like there's different string to keep the horses in. And as soon as that happened, Apollo put his head down, started eating, grass, whatever grass is left in the pasture. It's kind of dirt right now. And the other horse started eating. And Holly just stood there and watched me. She watched me walk all the way down the pasture line, all the way around, watched me walk into the barn, and I kept, waving to her and everything. But she was like, yeah, my mom's okay. She's going to be okay. It was so beautiful. So if any of you have animals, animals are our healers. Animals are amazing healers. And I just have issues with people who abuse animals, which I'm sure most of my audience probably will be like, yeah, right, Gail. They can't defend themselves like a human with their words. So for me to see any animal being abused is just bullshit, and I don't tolerate it. Gotten myself in trouble, kind of yelling at people. If you know me, you know that I do this, and I just don't tolerate it. It's just unacceptable behavior to abuse an animal. And so I just love the animals. I love how they're healers. And, cats purr, and that's a healing thing. Dogs, I think dogs take on our energy. I had a dog, and I had him for 13 years through, let's see, I think we had him in Michigan, Texas, Colorado, 3 states, 2 divorces. He was with me, and I was a kid when I raised him, so I didn't really know how to raise a dog properly. But ended up, he had a tumor attached to his liver, and he lived 13, almost 14 years, so he had a really good life. But when I started learning what I learn now, or what I know now, I realized that that tumor was him absorbing my anger. And, the liver is associated with anger. So he's got a tumor on his liver, and I feel like he absorbed so much anger from me. So I thank him all the time, too. He was my savior, and who knows what I may have contracted for myself if he wasn't taking on that energy for me, just in this unconditional loving little dog. No, he wasn't little. He was a husky Malamute, and his name was Buddy. He was amazing. He was my buddy, so I miss him still to this day. So if you have an animal, respect them, love them. They love you so much. They just want to heal you, and they take on all your shit. And, you have to allow them to release it. So you can tell them, listen, don't take this on. This is not yours. Thank you. And then just kind of, you can brush them and brush that energy into the ground, and let Mother Earth or Gaia energy just take that and just transmute it. So you can brush them and brush that energy into the ground, like I said, and just let them release that, and tell them it's not theirs to hold on to, that they can release it, and just thank them so much. So I think that's all for today. I just wanted to capture that beautiful moment that Holly and I had, because it was so many different components to it. And we can sometimes, a dog will smell us and maybe they're doing a healing, or they nuzzle up to your stomach or do something, and maybe they're doing a healing. And so sometimes we don't see that. We just say, oh, that's cute, whatever. But they always do things with so much intention, and they're always wanting to please us and love us and help us and heal us. So anyway, enjoy your animals. Love you guys.